Warm greetings from sunny Cyprus. So let's move along. This is another bed I'm going to build up like the one bed I've just shown you. I'm going to make it almost like a raised bed but still with this stone look to it. So I haven't got much going on in here. There's a few leeks and some Mexican chilies, but they're all going to move. And this is where the baths are. So all my Mexican chili peppers are in here now, which I think last year I moved most of those over. And there's no fig tree in the middle that there used to be at one time, if any of you know that far back. And this is a random bath, mostly where the asparagus is. It's doing really well as always. Just let it do its own thing. It runs its own season. And there's quite a few peppers and odd onions and bits and pieces in here. So this is my random bath. It's one of the few shady growing areas, that's why a few random things go in there. Let's go and take a look at some peppers. So this is the mini apple orchard area where we have some tyres and some pots that have been strawed up. And this is where I decided, if you look at my gardening plan, I was going to grow peppers in all of the dustbins that are sunk into the ground. There's a pomegranate tree there. Everything here is going to be kept small, like little miniature fruit orchard almost. But I thought all the tyres in this area I was going to grow peppers in, and they've all done really well. And the mini apple trees are surviving the heat. So I've got really good sized peppers, they're still going. So this became almost like my little pepper area. This one probably did the best over here. So there's quite a lot on this one, really big ones, which we love to cook. I can't have too many peppers. I love them on my homemade pizzas and also stir fry. And this is the area where I was growing the kohlrabi. I have a whole video on growing that, preparing it, when to pick it, and also here I'm growing the Florence fennel. And apart from all the apple trees here, I've also got a pot with some Mexican chilies. And then this was a new row for this year. This is where the water tank is, where we irrigate the land. And as you can see, possibly it needs major repairs because it's leaking a lot of water out. We have actually found a product here where you can paint it on the inside to seal it all. So it's just a case of finding out how we can afford it. And it's very good because you can actually leave the water in there and get in and paint it within the water. So this is brilliant. Anyway, because it's been leaking a lot and it's a wet area, this was a slope in front of it. And as you can see, I've made it into a little growing row to use the water that's leaking down. So this was just random extra tomatoes, peppers, and I think there's a few onions as well. So it's made use of the water that we're losing. So until we can actually afford to buy this product, at least we're getting something out of the money we're losing from paying for the diesel to fill up the irrigation tank. We have to still keep filling it because or else nothing else can get watered in my garden. So I thought that was a brilliant way to use up this area and the water that's wasted. As you can see, it's actually a slope. I can't dig any more of this area out because it's all rock. So I just dug the flattest bit, and then we have the pathway which goes down to the fruit forest behind me. This way up is to the house, and this area is the mini apple orchard area. If you want to see a bit more closely some of these growing areas, they're actually in my garden planning video, which I will leave a link below. Indeed, where I always leave links to other videos associated with the video that I'm making. So let's go and check out the Tyre area. So here we have the Tyre Row, which is again roofed out method. Just some compost in there if I have any spare to get the plants going, and then it's all straw. So we've got chili peppers and Mexican peppers in here. These are one of my best chili plants, chili peppers. Got a few of these around. These are my favourite types of peppers, but they're very strong. And then some more peppers, because this was the original area where I grew peppers. So I've left 2 tyres of peppers here still. Lovely mixture of colours at the moment. Oranges, greens, yellows, and some are going red. So decent sized peppers. And then random tomatoes in one of the water cisterns behind. This was my garlic, not done very well this year at all, my garlic. So that we do have years, every gardener, of things that don't grow, and then they have a really good year. So don't be disheartened if you try and grow something and it doesn't grow. It might be the wrong starting year for it. So do persevere, try things again. Also try things in a different area, makes a big difference. So 2 tyres full of cherry tomatoes. We've had lots of those starting really early this year. And then Mexican peppers. And this one again, because the tyres were one of my first growing areas, so I wanted one of each type of thing here. And as I say, more peppers here. These are ones I just snipped off the stalks, like I showed you the broccoli earlier, how when these had finished last year I just literally snipped the stalks, the stems, and this is what's produced from that. So try that with your peppers as well. These are coming. And then behind these we have the cisterns, the back of toilets. Some are plastic, some are ceramic. And these are all tomatoes, and they're actually, although I grow straight in some of them, they're actually brilliant for holding my cat bags. And I always now grow tomatoes in these. It's a good area. I can start each tomato off in a cat bag. And then this area of the loose cat bags, and if you can see, a goat feeder, which I wanted to keep, which was on the land. It holds some really nicely there. These are all the bigger variety of tomatoes, another type that's grown here, much slower to develop. I've had a few of these off already, but obviously because they're bigger they tend to be a lot slower. So we've got some there. And then if you saw in one of my videos before, I salvaged a feeding trough. It's very long here. And I've decided now to put mint in it, because I think the depth of this, as I said initially, I think it should really be for herbs. It's very long. Let's see if we get another angle of that. So you can see it here. It's very, very long. And I think this is ideal really for herbs. The only herb I grow at the moment is mint. There's a bit of lavender. Some of you count lavender as a herb, some of you don't. So I have started some lavender, but I'd like to maybe I've asked friends what to suggest for growing that I would use a lot with what I have already to cook. So I'm considering if I can get some more seeds sorted out, maybe basil. Chives I'm growing, and they're technically a herb, are they not? Basil, rosemary, and things like that I can also use for anti-bug repellent mixes. I've got a great recipe off of a friend of mine, which I will put up and obviously let you know the channel where I got it from. Very good recipe for mosquitoes and all bugs when you're sitting eating. And then this side is some more broccoli. This is all new seeds coming up here. Broccoli. And this is some more. That was artichokes, that's now the 4 o'clock flower. Another chili pepper. And then this area here, you can see I've left the metal path. If you're not sure what this is all about, I have done a video on it. And this is where I'm eventually going to grow something else, I don't know what, but at the moment I'm using it as almost a compost but random seed drop area. So I do like to do just a random mixed bed. As you can see, I think that's some melons appeared. So as I eat things or peel things, I've just been throwing them in here in some straw. There are some pallets underneath. And I'm just dropping everything here, so it's kind of a compost area, but with random sowed seeds naturally. Big lot of melons there. And then this side, this is all where I used to grow potatoes, so I carried on with potatoes this side. And any of you who know Daz, he's done the same as me, and he's just tried put his old potatoes back in, like really random ones. Now I know it depends on what the potatoes are and how many times they've grown from those potatoes as to whether they will come back again or not. The plants come back and they've reflowered, but let's see if there's any potatoes from that. So I think that'll do for now because that's a pretty long video. Oh, one more area before we go. I've got so many different areas. I want to try and show you some more random, so one more section. So this is the guest chill out zone. I did plant lots of spring flowers here, which obviously they're going to come up again next year. But I also did some okra here because I want this area to also be where we can have some things where the guests can just come and pick from randomly rather than picking from my crops. If I have spare, obviously, like I just did with my last workaways, I just picked it and gave it to them. But it's nice that they know if they've got a whole area to themselves as well. There is oleander growing there and some irises there, and it looks like there's a 4 o'clock flower growing in between. So it's going to be flowers, which is another reason I grew the okra here, because or some of you call it lady's fingers, because it's something that does flower. Here's Colin. We're on another day, by the way, because this camera stops filming and I get a bit fed up with keep stopping, trying to work it all out and start again. So this video has actually been filmed over several days, but I wanted to do it one day. But Colin always finds me, don't you, Colin?